So as you know, the agenda for the session is like very simple. We wanted to talk about like how to start with actual framework development. We will talk about how to run particular tests against multiple environment, how should we organize test suite, how should we create the page objects model, how should we record it within Playwright and starts with it, and then end-to-end testing patterns, and then there are advanced framework features as well. I'm not sure whether we would be able to cover that in today's sessions, but yeah, we will try. Okay, so to give an example, I just talked about this particular tool, that this is the one of the blogging site that is available. So obviously you can see the source code of it is available here, and that a lot of people has deployed it, right? And this is an open source, you can read the code and understand the code, and possibly for this example the code is written in almost like 10 different languages and 10 different frameworks, and you would be able to see their examples as well here. So if you go to the code base show, they will let you know like this particular site, this real world example that we are gonna look, the front end has been written in all different languages. If you wanted to see how the code is written, you can take a look. The back end is written in like all these languages, you can take a look, and full stack. So the point is, this is a common application people try to use to do the learning or try to understand different framework and different languages. And because it's an open source and developed by a lot of people in a lot of languages, people have deployed this. So someone has wrote it in a Python and deployed it on a Python everywhere. Someone has wrote it in a JavaScript, they have deployed it in a fly.dev. Why I use the same application? Because we wanted to check, our test would run on different environments. I don't have to show any test environment, dev environment, or UAT, preview, prod kind of a thing. So we will be using this two application as like a different environment for the same application. Okay, obviously with this we will need different user, different need of set of a data, how to think about having different kind of a data, how to manage the URLs, manage the user. So those aspects, if possible, we will try to cover here. That would be part of an actual industry standard framework that's supposed to handle multiple environments, and someone called a data driven framework. So we will have the data in isolation. It's not on data driven, it's an isolation. If you have questions about that, we can discuss and take them later. Okay, so what this app is about, this is simple blogging app. Person can see the different blogs on the global feed, as you can see, and here is a pagination. There are different tags. So blogs has a tag, right? So if you open some blog, you will see that particular blog is tagged with something like this, right? So I don't know whether this is still available. I don't know. If it is, then you will be able to see. Okay, it's not. Let me check. Yeah, okay. I don't know which blog currently I'm using. So but there are many blogs that I could show you, like, okay, let it be. I hope you understand what is the tagging and how blogs are user tagged, right? Particular content is tagged with something so that it will also be used as a metadata open blog and can be used in the search. Okay, so this is the global feed. Once there is a functionality open sign in. If you have an account, you can sign in. If you don't have an account, you can sign up, and that's pretty much it, right? So we will think about what we need to be done from the perspective of testing this application, right? Testing or writing a framework for this application. So we will start with our Playwright framework that we have created earlier, right? Not a framework, but something that we created. So I'll just try to open that here in file, on recent Playwright. Where is my Playwright? Okay, item. Okay, this was the one that we had. So I'm opening it in VS Code, and This is where we left our last session, right? I hope my screen is visible. If not, please don't hesitate to let me know. So this is how the session that we converted. So I'll just delete the things that we have created earlier to have the clarity, right? So I am deleting this everything that we created, and I'm deleting it, right? This is something that got created because we opened the project in IntelliJ Aqua, and this is Playwright report. That reports get generated that we talked about earlier, right? So by default your project will have, forget about this folder, but you will have the node module and you will have the playwright config.ts. There would be example and test folders would be created out of the like a default thing, so you don't have to worry about those, right? So once you download, you can start with deleting some of the things that are not required, and then you will create like very basic skeleton kind of a thing. When I say the skeleton is like a structure that you wanted to give, the typical structure for a playwright is like you will create a data for a config, so you will have like config folder which will able to handle the different environment. Then there would be something like you want to hold and test. Then there would be something you wanted to hold as an source, like an code, actual code, like an UI project. Oh, I added test and source at the same level. I'll just create source here, right? And then in the source itself you can create the different thing that we will talk about. Okay, cool. So like typical thing would be, this is how it would be. Okay, I created something that you should be able to see. I'll copy it. Like you will have the config. In the config you will have like a particular environment related config, and then environment related config, and then you will have some test. Again you will divide into these suites as you like. Then there would be pages, and then there would be config ts. So instead of pages I have used the source, because in the source itself we will create a new folder called pages. Then if you wanted to create like something as a base that you will use, I'll create a base and I'll show you, right, how this will get used, and we will go about this. Now I am the kind of person, I wanted to keep my data and test data separate. So my test and test data should be separate, so that if I change the test data, I don't have to go and modify the test. I should be able to do that in the isolation. So that I'll likely to do over here, right? So I'll create a folder for test data as well. So these are like standard structure that I'll suggest that you can create when you start creating in any skeleton in any language or in any framework. Your test should be separate, your test data should be separate, and your source code or page object that you need, that should be separate, right? We talked about page object model. Page object model is like an interface. We talked about what interface is. So it's an interface that we will be accessing in our tests, and our test should have the pattern of an AAA, arrange, action, and assert. And assert comes from the testing library and test, right? So far so good. Or any questions or any concerns or something that you wanted to ask before I proceed the next? Okay, assuming silence as a no. Cool. Thank you for the feedback. So what I'll do now, I'll start recording a test, right? And while recording we will talk about what is important, how should I decide what should I test the first, and those kind of a thing as well, right? So cool. I'm just selecting a record new from here, and it will open the browser for me, right? So I am trying to record a test. So I'll just take this URL and I'll paste it over here, and then we will record it, right? So I hit on recording. So once I'm on my home page, I wanted to see this particular logo of my thing is displayed or not, right? So I'll just say go over here, that this particular bar is there, right? Then I wanted to check whether these menu items are available or not, right? So I'll just say my home page has this particular thing. Okay, and I could click on that, let's say, and I can go back to the home, and then this global particular field is displayed to me or not, right? So you can assert like this particular field, then you can just try it out and play with it. And while you are doing this, if you go and see in your test recorder, you will see like all those things are like getting recorded over here, right? You see that this particular assets like global feed is available, this particular logo is available, then if you wanted to test like home is available, you can add that. Then if you wanted to see login is available, you can test that. If you wanted to sign up is available, you can test that, and that's it. Like, or if you wanted to have like check this particular div is available, you can just add that as well, right? So that's like a basic thing that you will need to test. Now this is just in one flow. I'll just keep it over here and I'll rerun, then we will record another flow, and then we will talk about what should we test first when we actually think about the project. I just came here, we will talk about those things, right? So I'll stop my recording and you will see that in a way that I have okay, this statement is not correct. I might have done something wrong. So this test, as you can see, it got created with test1.specs, and I could run it, and I should be able to see how does it work and other things. So if I go over here, you will be able to see okay. So this was actually got cut from that link. तो ये यहाँ पे कहीं पे था वो वाला पार्ट, बट ठीक है, we don't need it for now. And just get rid of it, and then we should be able to run this test. And you could see that all those things that we said, it got tested in like within, we can open the report and see, but within like 1.4 second all those things got recorded. So this is like a first test. But as an end user, I wanted to check whether I am able to sign up or not, right? So let me record a new script. So now I have not started with creating a page object model. I said like page object model would be an overkill if your project is like very small, right? But does that mean I'm not gonna create a page object for this demo? No, I'll be able to create. But when you approach a fresh project, it's not like right that you have to start with the page object as like a first thing, then only it will work. No, I'll be showing you the things that how page object model will come into the picture and how it will solve your problem and how it would work, right? So I just need to see whether sign up is working or not, right? So let me see that I need to create a new test, like so I need to go over here again, like same thing. I'll need URL, so I just copy this and use it. Okay, I need to sign up, so let me check whether my sign up functionality is working or not. Amol 6deg@gmail.com. they don't send the email, so it should be fine. 6deg2024. so if I sign up, you see now once I sign up, two things changes. I should be able to see another tab, UFeed, which is an assertion, and I should be able to see my name that I have posted over here while I created an user, right? So my test is like, am I able to create a user is able to sign up, right? So I'll go over here, I'll just give the name to the test, right? So the test name is user is able to sign up. So this test actually check whether you would be able to sign up or not, right? Now would you think that this test would work if I run it, and if yes, why, and if no, why? Okay. No, by default, Playwright will use user-centric IDs, and it's a very good question. I'm gonna get diverted again for 5-10 minutes, but something that you all supposed to know. So I don't know whether I talked about this in earlier sessions or not, but all the Playwright locators, like default Playwright locators, are based on a testing library. What is testing library and why it was created and what is the aim, right? So it is simple and complete testing utilities that encourage good testing practices. So what is good? So I'll come to this, right? Your home, if you given an ID home, someone given name as a home or landing page, someone gives a default page, someone give a different name. So name may change, but for our ID may change, but from your end user perspective, this label is very unlikely to change, right? So what you generally tend to use with other tools are like internal structure of the application instead of the how end user will consume it, right? So the testing library actually solves the problem is like test only break when your app breaks, not implementation details. So when we use ID, when we use XPath, when we use CSS, that's not your actual application, that's an implementation of your application that end user is using. Your end user don't have to worry about whether it's an ID, whether it's an XPath, or whether it's an CSS, right? So from end user perspective, that's not the truth, but from the end user perspective, these labels, now this is that something that you see in this particular language, but it might be in another language. So that's the real truth from that perspective, and that is why this library promotes like using the human readable locators, saying that built in this kind of selectors, not selectors you can use, and it not just on Playwright but most of the libraries, most of the other libraries also it supports. Like you can see the name here, I guess Cypress should be there. Okay, if you go to the diagram, okay, so you will understand like how they use the name, but you can see that all the Cypress, Puppeteer, TextCafe, Nightwatch, WebDriver IO, React, DOM testing library, all these frameworks support testing libraries, and it supports because it's very close to the front end development kind of a thing. So that's why you will see the feel, right? That being said, you should be able to use ID if you like, right? So what I meant by that, so let me go to the application, and if you wanted to use ID, you should be able to use ID as well. So there is no there is nothing stopping you to use ID or a class. So Playwright does support you writing or get by title, get by test ID. So this is like something that test ID that people use. You can use that, and you can just use like a locator as in something like available, where you can mention what kind of a locator, and then you can write that as well, which is like traditionally XPath or CSS kind of a thing. But as I said, like you don't have to focus on the implementation, you will see how the end user would be able to see it. Now again, now let's hold back, take a second and think about this code. I know it's not gonna be the case in terms of a test, it would be isolated and in the interface of a page object model, but if you read the page object model, this will still make the sense. I expect a link with a role as a home to be visible. I expect link of a login to be visible, right? So this is more visible, more readable for you when you develop a test as well. So Playwright default use as I said, testing libraries convention, and that is why it's funny, like people still talking about XPath extensions, how they are important kind of a thing. They are not actually aware that world is moving away from them. You don't even have to XPath should be your last resort, and you should rely first this kind of then ID, or if not you should try to learn how to add a test ID into project itself. And if you read this page that I was talking about or referring, they talked about the same thing as well. Like if you go to the introduction and guiding principle, they say that if it is not sorry, if someone is trying to contribute something. So they itself encourage you to add an ID if no one is adding an ID, and that ID is you need to add using a data test ID, and this is like a standard practice for the web development. So if you just add this, you will see like what is test data ID, attribute and testing by test ID, and you will see like dozens of questions, and should we not use test directory for element identification. So like lot of things and lot of literature available on that subject. So to answer your question in cut short in like simple terms, after spending 7-8 minutes on it, we can use the locator as you like XPath, but when you record it, by default it will rely on this testing library kind of a nomenclature to select the selector, but that doesn't stop you to go ahead and use the other kind of a locator. Is that clear? Okay, now coming back to my questions, would you think that this test will work? Why? If yes, why? And if yes, why not? In the real world, it may work in this case, but what do you think? Okay. Okay, it won't work because once you actually sign up with a particular user, that email should be there in the system. It shouldn't allow you to log in with the same user, right? So your other test could be like okay, amol plus 6 deck is something that I need to remember what I wrote earlier, otherwise we're gonna end up spending more time. So if we write like same thing 6 deck, so registration successful, redirecting to the login page. So I'll try to sign up again. Okay, I am signing again, I am sign up again, and I'll try to register again with the same email. Ideally, I'm not sure whether this is implemented in this software or not, but this is something that you will be able to see, that user email, a user with an email ID already exists, user with an email ID already exists, right? So those kind of a thing that you will supposed to face, right? So you can go here, you can say that record at the cursor, so you are recording the existing thing, right? So I'll just go back over here, I'll log out. Now that I'm logging up, I'm go to the sign up. I don't know whether I'm using the same application or that was a different application, but let me try. Okay. Oh, was I on sign up or was I on login? Then it should have restricted me, right? It should have restricted me just like that application that I was showing. So this is something that I supposed to assert, that correct, that my second test should look like this, that I have put it this email and ID and other kind of detail, and I should be able to not sign up, right? Like test should not be able to sign up with an existing email, and that's pretty much it, right? And I'll just cut paste like most of the things over here, and we will write something, and then that should be it. Okay, now I wanted to make sure my test work in like both the scenarios, right? So I'll make the changes. I'll write this as an okay, I'll go and find this. I'll call this spec as a sign up spec. Okay, so I have now the sign up to test in place. This test won't work because it don't have anything in place like sign up karte ho. So I need to modify this, but we will modify all the testers once. Yeah. So this way you will go ahead and create multiple test suites, right? So this is something that one we have done. Let's do it for login, and I'll just go to the plugin, I'll go to the record new, and it should raise the browser. I'll go here, I'll try to copy the URL. So I'll go over here. Okay, I pasted the wrong URL, I need to deal with it. I'll click on a login. I know the credentials that I put, amol plus 6deg @gmail.com, and then password is like 6deg, and I'll click on the login button. तो फिर पहले क्या डाला था मैंने? Okay, I'm just so you can add like okay ये हो गया wrong email. So this is my test like wrong email का test. So I'll just stop it over here and I'll go back and I'll this got where did I recorded that? It should get populated over here. Didn't I stop recording? Sorry for it. I need to redo that again. As I said, like we are doing from the scratch, so please expect such kind of an hiccups. Let me stop this and let me delete the blank test files. It might be creating a problem. So we have test1, we have sign up, we don't have this file, so I'll go. Okay, I'm just getting rid of these 3 files. I'm going now again here. I'll check like a wrong browser wala scenario. Then I need to know one kind of a thing. Record new. And then I'll just add a wrong password and it should give me the error like this. So this is done, right? Cool. So this is one test, like a wrong password test. Now I need to have like a right test as well, so I need to remember the password, or maybe I'll just sign up with a different user. So that would be an Amol 6deck1 or 6deck1 @gmail.com. I'm hoping that I'll just remember all these things. Amol 123. Okay, so we will write the another test that I am able to log into the application, right? I'll just go away here. I'll copy the URL on the, and I'll just say my test record new. Cancel about. I don't have to do the record new. I can just say record at the cursor, and then you will be able to go to the login page. You will use the credentials that is valid, and then you will use the okay. मेरा cursor अलग जगह पे चला गया, but I think it will work still. क्या हो गया? 1 2 3. Okay, now I need to assert कि ये आ गया. Now I need to assert कि मेरा यूजर नेम यहाँ पे आ गया. ठीक है, तो all good. I'll just copy this thing because my cursor was above. I'll cut paste and I'll just put it over here, and it looks good, right? Need to close this off. So I have like 2 tests. Now if I run this test, it should work. Okay, क्या हुआ, क्या नहीं बोला? Email click. Okay, element is not found your feed. Okay, element is not. Okay, Amol 1 2 3 पासवर्ड भी गलत गया है. 1 2 3 जाना चाहिए. Fill कर रहा हूँ मैं. तो fill is something that pushes the text right away. So I'll use, instead of fill, I'll use the press sequentially, so that it will be patient and be like cool to enter the things. So यहाँ पे मुझे email में कुछ press करना है, and then I have to press something in the okay, क्या था मेरा वो Amol ये यहाँ पे था. Okay, so all these things are like putting it up in randomly at somewhere. I need to be more vigilant about where my cursor is. Okay, I'll click on the email, I'll click on the password, and password पे click करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. I don't need login, I don't know this thing. I am clicking on the button twice, but like this should be my test. And this test is passed, right? And I'll just close it and I'll just show you because it got running behind. And these assertions, it already took care of in like 3.9 seconds. Now I am done with user login test. I am done with an user wrong test, right? What I'll do, basically I'll just copy this and I'll, instead of this other things, I'll wrong password test था ना उसमें, तो we need to add like बटन पे तो क्लिक करने तक सेम ही रहेगा, तो we will just click this. Click on button. I don't think that this is needed. I'll just use this, and instead of 1 2 3 I'll just write as a 4 5 as a password, and then that password is wrong, right? So one test should fail and one should, like both the tests should pass. Okay, I am running the test and quitting it, right? So I'll run this page. Right, so both these tests pass within like 3.7 seconds. Good enough, right? So this is like you have created a test. Now, so we talked about like sign up, we talked about like two basic things about login.speak.ts. So we talked about login, we talked about sign up, and I earlier talked about how do you value what needs to be automated as an first, and I talked about we need to think about, take a time and and go ahead and have some metrics in place and then decide what needs to be done. So there is a concept called as a low hanging fruit, and then there is some video that Angie Jones has created, YouTube video on Twitter feature what needs to be automated first. So I'm just putting up the whole description like I generally do within ChatGPT, but it's supposed to provide you this, right? Like yes. So this is what I was showing you. I'll share the link. But she has given example like what is your gut feeling, so what we supposed to think about, and she has given an example of an like very similar app like Twitter, and then you can refer this example like how do we add on value to something to decide what something that we need to be automated first, and this doesn't come in the expense of. So there are two ways to verify this, right? So I am just sending this link right away in our group. No, but like most important thing that we need to think, so there are two ways to think about this: the impact from the end user perspective and the impact that work that you are doing, right? So when I said that work you are doing is like if you are doing something every day for like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, then you need to take that call that I am spending too much of a time on this, and this may not be that much of an useful from the end user's perspective. They are likely to use this functionality like once in a month or twice in a month, but I do spend like 3 hours every day, because if it doesn't work even like once in a month, it's a big issue for the team or organization or something like that. So you need to think about this thing. So what is taking my time and how can I invest something in the automation that saves my time, and then other thing is what is most important from the end user perspective and what should I focus on, and that is what the sanity comes into the picture. Some people use smoke as a word. It's a different parlance, different word, and it has different meaning. Obviously, I don't want to get into that, but thing is, yes, it's different. We need to understand what it is, and then need to go and understand what we need to test and create a like list of things that is important from our perspective, from end user perspective, and pick those things for the automation, right? So we did like on the base, we did sign up, we did the login. But to be honest, this is a blogging app. Okay, I'm signing up. I'm I like, there would be apps which has enterprise application, right? Generally they are SSO enabled. So in that case, it's not like every day thousands of users are registering. Like, it's not Facebook, it's not Twitter. But once in a while some users are registering, but it is important for them that everyday user are able to log into the application, right? So in that case, sign up may not be important, but login is. So I just wanted to throw an example, like how to think about what needs to be picked. So we did two things, but now thinking like, okay, this is important, but most important thing is that I am able to create a blog and I am able to publish the blog, right? So these are like important thing for me that it's supposed to be supposed to be tested, right? So what I'll do, I'll create a test to do the same, right? And here I'm not navigating somewhere, like I'm directly navigating to the sign up page. I'm just going here and I'm keeping my cursor over here, and then I'll go to my IDE. I'll go to the record at a cursor, and then my cursor is here, and then it will open the browser, I'm hoping. Okay, why it is taking so much time to open the browser? Okay, maybe this file was created earlier. Yeah, the same issue that we had, that this earlier created file is creating an issue. So let's get rid of it, and I'll just use something like a record a new, and then it will supposed to open this browser. Okay, now I'm navigating to this login page. I'm clicking on email. I'm putting the email amol plus 6 take 1@gmail.com, and then there was some password. Let me take a look. Okay, sign up का था, कहाँ पे था, नहीं login पे था. So you could see that, okay, this and this was the password. So I'll just use this. I'll type it amol123, and then I'll click on a sign in. Invalid email. Why it is showing me invalid email? We did log in with this email, right? There is a bug in the application or what? That is strange. 1, 2, 3. Sign in is not working for this. I'll just close this and I'll use something that we have used earlier, right? I was using some different URL open Python everywhere. That's something that gonna create some problems. So I'll just use this one. Okay. So I was just creating a browser and moving here, and I'll just use this login URL. Yeah. Run the test, keep this open. Okay, now we clicked on the email. I'll do the same thing that we have done in the login, like email and password, so we don't have to worry about it. I'll just copy it, I'll just paste it. We are logging, and now we have to continue with the functionality that we had. Record at the cursor, which is I was logged in, right? What is happening? 6take1@gmail.com. We need to delete this again, obviously. We will click here, welcome 123, not welcome 123, it's amol123, and I am clicking on login. I am clicking, and now I need to create a new article. It's in blogging platform. Article tag is like 6take session on Playwright. and then article is about Playwright, and then let me put up some agenda if I have it open. This, and then tag, I'll create a Playwright as a tag, and I'll hit the publish button, and once it is published I should be able to see like this particular title is available. So I'll just add an assert, and if I assert, and that should be like my test, like I should be able to see published article, right? So I'll come here, I'll stop the test, and the test should be like ready most, right? So I'll rerun it. Okay, something went wrong. I stopped it. I wanted to see the browser. Wait, expect, yeah, क्या हो रहा है? Find, cannot find X name expect. Okay. So let's see, okay, so you see that it entered password that field, that DOM was not ready to get that details. Okay, I put in the wrong password again. Anyway, so that could be the reason that it was not able to log in. So I'll just stop the browser and rerun it. Hey, anyone is paying attention why it's failing, or it's just me, trying to figure out things? I don't know whether people are there now. Yes, they are. Cool. So you can see that like this test that we were executing, it's still getting executed. I don't know where are we right now, but it will. Yeah, it's causing an issue, I guess. Yes, that's something, yeah. Okay, thank you for looking into it. That is what I was asking, that there is some issue in the code and no one is paying attention. So we don't need this, right, login wala thing that has been already done. So this should help us to get into the application. And let me run it again and see now. Okay, fill application में भी गलती हो रहा है. So title already exist. So there is this bug that we got. So there were a few scenarios that we talked about. One was with login ka, that you cannot sign up, and then there is this article that we were trying to create. We couldn't create because we needed generic data, right? So what we will do, we will use another library called Faker.js, and we will move ahead and get this thing done. So Faker.js क्या है? So if you see this is Faker.js. This is very much, it's in like Java Faker, that you must be knowing Java Faker, right? So it's very similar to the what we have in Java, like Java Faker. We will use this Java Faker, and how to use it, how to install it, I'll show you, right? Like this is the first library that we are using, and it's like first of many that we will be using. So I'll go to the folder, I'll just use npm I do want to save these details of this library to the package.json, which actually holds. So if you remember our session, it's hold like all the dependencies, right? That okay, right now we are using only these two dependencies, and we wanted to save this Faker.js dependency. So I'll just save it, and you can see that okay, there is this dependency got added, right? You can add as a dev dependency, you can add as a dependencies, it doesn't matter, we use it. So for now, for us it's okay. So let me go here, let me change the name. This is like last test we are trying, and then we will actually go to the framework part, where we will actually talk about how page object model will come into the picture and other things, right? But this is important because all these three tests needs to be executed, right? So we have Faker in place, and we have test data from the outside. I'll keep it test data from outside for now, and then we will try to refactor things and have everything in place. Okay. So I'm here. This is wrong password test. This is good. Sign up. I'll need some user ID which is like different, like name or email is different, like that I'm feeling. So what I'll do, I'll use constant, I'll use email equals to like my name Amol plus faker dot random. There's supposed to be some random word or something, right? Okay, word dot random. Okay, let me check what is. Okay, I guess there is something random. There should be some random word ka kuch API that we supposed to get. We will go here, we will check here random string. Okay, so we have words, not word. We have random words, and words में कुछ तो रहेगा. But how this API is called? Faker.word.verb. Faker.word. Okay, so okay, so there are different strategies that you can use word, and I need multiple words, right? So I don't want just one word, so I'll just try to see how can I get multiple words or multiple string. So I'll just try to see string का कुछ मिल रहा है क्या मेरे को. Randomizer. Okay, there is this randomizer. Okay, no, randomizer won't be good. String alphanumeric. There should be some example of an alphanumeric. Let's say this would suffice our need, right? Faker string alphanumeric. So I'll just copy this, I'll use this alphanumeric string, and instead of 5 I said let's say have 10, and we will need 10. Now this is string, so we need to do the concatenation. As you know, this should work, but ideally it should be in similar things, so it's more readable and appropriate. So instead of this email, I'll use email and your name, your email, get placeholder. And why I'm filling it 2 times? Should not be able to sign up with an existing. अरे यार गलत जगह पे कर रहा हूँ मैं. Should not be able to sign up with existing. User is able to sign up. So we are here. Conduct has a test. Okay, cool. ये टेस्ट गलत ही लिखा था, तो we will just modify, copy करके नीचे वाला टेस्ट ऊपर लिखेंगे, and then we will complete it, and then actually we will go to the page object model. I know it's taking more time than what I anticipated, but there is like lot of जो copy cut paste करते तो error होता है. But yes, okay, should not able to sign up with an existing email. So I'll just get rid of this thing. This is not what we needed. We just needed this, and I can, okay, yeah, this would work. That you are trying to log in with the same thing, and then password field. But where is the login का click कहाँ पे? Okay, sign up का click is missing. Okay, I need to fix this. Just yeah. You are not able to see it. So what is the, oh, is it for everyone? I no, but it looks well to me. Is it now, Chedali? No? Okay, let Ritvik, Madhu. Okay, let me stop and reshare it again. Okay, for you it's working. Okay, I'm trying it again now. I hope that works. Okay, is it better now? Can you see my cursor? You should be able to see it. If not, then it's supposed to be related to your network. Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you. So don't worry, Chaitanya. We are recording this, so anyway, it will be available for you if you wanted to take a look later. But are you still not able to see it? Is that the case? Because I don't want that to happen. Can you try rejoining? Yeah, because so I'm just modifying the text that we are recorded, and while modifying, what are the things that we are seeing, what are the things that we are not seeing, how much we are copy pasting. You will be able to see like this is something that we are doing manually, this is something that we are doing manually, kind of a thing, right? So okay, user won't be your name, email, password. Yes, so these are the fields that we supposed to fill, right? Your name, your this. So I'll just copy this, I'll just paste this over here, and now that we are on this page, I'll just try to get a locator of sign up button which I deleted while doing it. So I'll go to here and I'll say the locator, and I'll have this locator over here which I'll copy, which I'll use here. Await page dot, then click, right? And obviously we need to have the same thing in the both the scenarios. यहाँ पे user is able to sign up, and in this case user is not able to sign up because with the same username password, right? So test is gonna look the same. We have changed the email wala code. We use faker over here. So not sure whether Chaitali has joined. She has not. Okay, let's wait for a second so that she doesn't miss on anything. I need to import the faker, add import faker. So email, so let's keep our field, let's keep things simple. So because we wanted this scenario to work, sign up on every time, what I'm doing is I guess she might be looking for some URL or something like that. Some internet connection problem at mind, will join in 5 minutes. Okay, she will be joining in 5 minutes. Let's continue. So we are at the sign up page. I'm rerunning it, and now I'm expecting this to work like every time. So you can see that this random email that we created, it did work. And then okay, email already exists. This supposed to user is able to sign up. Why we are getting the error? Email already exists, try login again. So we sign up, it wasn't visible right away, it took some time. So it took more than 5 seconds of a time, right? So what I'll do, something that we talked about earlier, right? In the Playwright config, we have this default timeouts that we can configure, right? So let me check whether it is available here. Action timeout. I think it's available in this level. Action timeout. Let's say 10 seconds, and we should be good. We don't need timeout on the test level, so I'll just get rid of it. I'll go to the sign up one. I'll just wait for everything for 10 seconds before we are saying that it is working or not, right? We know that user is able to sign up, test did not work. So why in the case of sign up we will see this? We won't. We will in the case of sign up we will see, oh, is anyone paying attention why the test failed? So in the sign up also we were trying to assert the same thing, which is not the case, right? In the sign up it's supposed to, if should not be able to sign up. Once it is sign up, it's supposed to see the profile thing, right? So that thing supposed to be there, that we actually got rid of it. So let me log in and let me try to get those things. So I'll just rerun it, and I should be able to log into the application. And then okay, why I should not be able to sign up with an existing email? Okay, so this is pass, should be able to with an existing this password button sign in. Okay, this will run and this will do any assertions. Okay, So you can see I am run and I don't see any assertion, but I'm supposed to see this email that I use as an username, right? So what I'll do, I'll just add an assert, like I'll just pick a locator or this, and then I'll say await expect page get text, and then in the text I need to provide a text is visible, to be visible, and this, and what text that we are expecting, we have given an email, so I am expecting email to be available, right? So now I run this test with these assertions, so ideally it should work. Like so you can see that it has worked now, right? So if I run like whole suite, it worked. Okay, so we verified, like we wrote like 3-4 scenarios right away today. User can create new article. Okay, now you see that most of the things we are logging in, and now suppose this password change, instead of email they are saying like something else, or something has changed. We have to make changes in all 3 test suites, right? We have to make changes in article, we have to make change in the login, we have to make change into the sign up. So all these specs files will need to change, and this is where the page object models come into the picture, which we discussed theoretically and saw how it would work, right? And that is why we will go ahead the source folder, we will create on pages, and we will create pages for the each component that we talked about, right? So the first component that we will talked about, like let's say login dot page dot ts. So every file in TypeScript ends with an ts. I'm just giving page to like separate out, like okay, it's a page object model. We will need one for sign up as well, so I am writing as sign up dot page dot ts. Then there is this create article for some dashboard page that where we land as well, so I'll call it as a dashboard page.ts as well. And then there is this page called article page.ts.com. So there are these pages that is needed there, right? So you got the concept, right? Why we are creating in pages and how we are thinking about the pages. So now we will, just like what we have seen in the earlier as well, we will just create an like page objects model. We will create an classes for the page to provide us an interface for application under test, right? So let's say login page would be our first page class, and it would have a constructor, and it will have an attribute. Obviously first attribute would be in page, of a type page, and then there would be a constructor, right? So let me import the page. So we have imported the page, and you will see there is this. Okay, someone wants to say something. Okay, Chaital is back. Yeah, so essentially we are just talking about, we created the 3 specs files, and then we are creating now page objects model, and how it will reduce the way, and then how it will evolve to have like a test data and page object model separation, and how it will help to see the test, like like this big test for simple thing like this big, and making changes like dozen of places when we actually could do at the single place, right? So I'll just create a method which would be an async method, like login, which will accept an like object of some type called user, and then I'll just use for login, like okay, this is something that I got auto created from like this, but I'll go to our login page. I'll just pick like lot of those things and do this, remember, in page object model we don't do the assertions. In the page object model we just write the action, so you won't see that we are doing assert in these methods, because this method supposed to act like something that we will do, right? It doesn't act like something we don't do. Like testing, something needs to be done in the testing, something that we need to be done at the level of tests and not at the level of, sorry, this replace, okay, should this work? I messed it up like lot of things using that. Okay, let me get rid of this. It would have been easier to do it like this. So you see that this is the page object model that we created, user. So we defined that we will need type system, right? And we talked about types in our earlier session as well, that what is type, why we need type, how type plays an important role, and why do we create certain types of a type, kind of a thing. So that we discuss, and similar thing that we will be using here as well, that we need the types. So types is more related to the data that we are passing. So I'm not gonna create the types in the source, I'm gonna create the types in a test data. So first type that we are gonna create, so let me create a types file, types dot ts stands for types, and then the first type that we will be creating as an export interface. So we talked about all these things, right? User, and user has, at least for this application, it has email, password, and then username, right? Okay, so we have this particular user. Now if you go to this login page ka page object, I'll just import this user, and this would look as is supposed to be. And instead of having this hard-coded data, I'll use whatever that I have been passed, like user email, and then user password, and then there is this login. Now I created this user, but I don't wanted to create this users every time, right? So now we have created the page object model. I'm just splitting it to the right, and I'll close like everything, close others, save karte sabko, and then instead of this I'll open my login ka spec. I'll close this. Now think about what kind of an abstraction that I'm looking for, right? When I say the abstraction is something like, look at like this, that okay, my test is this, I don't want it to part open anything in this test, so I don't need this. I'll just create an object open login page, and then I should be able to pass this data, right? Now you can pass this, instead of user you can pass email and password as in two different parameters. But wouldn't it be great that we will be able to send just one parameter? We talked about clean coding practices, and the less number of parameters to the function, it is a good practice, and how, because you know the cognitive memory load and those things that we talked about, right? So we are gonna talk about this, so I'll just delete this. So let's write something to create a test data kind of a thing, right? So we wanted to create a test data, so we can write a hard-coded test data, or we can create a test data on the fly as well, correct? So I'll just write another in test data file. I'll create an file as in test data. Just give me a second folks, I'll be back.